Nothing like a movie about a doggo. Look at that doggo. He's cute puppo. He's such a cute puppo. Arthur the King, based on an apparently incredible true story about, oh God, what was that? Mark Wahlberg's character, whose name is eluding me at the moment. I don't have the info right up here. Was it Mark Watney? No, that Mark Watney's from The Martian. Arthur the King. What was the name of the damn of the guy? Or I forget. Michael Light. It was Michael Light. If it's a sponsor to bring him back and a team just for one last chance for an adventure racing world championship in the Dominican Republic. As the team gets pushed to the outer limits of endurance, a dog named Arthur comes along for the ride, redefining what victory, loyalty, and possibly even friendship truly means. I just added the possibly part, but that's basically what happened. It's a real story about a real guy who found this dog in the Dominican Republic during an adventure race. Bonded, saved the dog's life, and brought the dog home. And the dog, I don't know if the dog's still alive. I don't know when this actually happened. That is a good question. When did this take place? They don't specify that. Filming the engine, the cast, what is? Yeah, I don't know when this took place. Let's see. The casting took place in 2019, so it took place before then. Okay, true story. Theaters. Okay, Arthur the King. Who is Arthur the King based on? Well, let me see. 2016. Okay, 2016 memoir. So honestly, the dog might still be alive. But the dog would be very, very old today, because I get the impression the dog was not young. Well, then again, the dog might have been only a couple years old. So honestly, the dog might be alive today. I don't. Who was the real King Arthur? Was the real King Arthur alive? To know. Happens to the dog and Arthur the King. But does actually show the dog became part of the racer's family. Yeah, I don't know if the dog's still alive today, but I hope he is. That'd be a nice little, like, oh, yay. Anyway, the movie is exactly how it advertises. It's a feel-good, real story about this guy who, kind of was always pushing for that win, but never got there. And how he ultimately, through this dog, was able to kind of achieve something more than victory by means other than winning. He won in a different way than just a race, in like prestige and all that. And it does its job well. It's not amazing. It's very much like many other films of the genre. Excuse me. Ooh. But it still does its job effectively. Mark Wahlberg honestly, he's playing Mark Wahlberg. That's pretty much what he's doing. But he plays himself well. He's that guy with that kind of, I wouldn't say it's a sharp wit. He is witty, and he can throw one-liners, but the Mark Wahlberg-esque Wahlberg character, if you will, is someone who does have a good head on his shoulder, but is kind of also got that hard edge, that little bit of hothead temper to him, that won't back down attitude to him, and he does it well. There's a scene involving explaining why he races. Very short, but good scene. There's a great scene involving him and the climber they bring, the one female member of their team, which they're required to have. What was it? Juliet. There we go. Juliet, involving a zip line and what goes wrong in the zip line, them trying to fix the solution. Like, it's a tense scene, man. I'm like, damn. And you can tell they shot this fairly cheap. There are scenes where you can tell, oh, he has a drone. They're clearly using a drone. Or, oh, they just put the camera on the back of the bikes they're riding. And in some sense, that works. Because, it does give you some great aerial shots. And it does give that whole in-motion kind of feel, especially when it comes to the biking. At the same time, though, it does get a little shaky. It's not the best shot. Like, shots are not composed very strongly in a lot of spots because it's more trying to focus. Whatever real camera work is going in the movie is going into the physical aspect of the movie, the actual adventure racing, or watching someone climb a cliff just for the sake of it. So I mean, in that regard, it is shot well. It's just kind of 1 second here. I'm sorry, I had a prompt like my mouse must have gone over the icon for the OBS, so it was just I had this little image down there in the back. But yeah, it's both well shot and I think sometimes less than well shot. Still, I think it's balanced well. All the characters are doing their jobs. Simu Liu is I like seeing Simu Liu show up in more stuff because I got into him like a lot of people did with Shang-Chi. Obviously, I think one of his big breakout roles is Kim's Convenience, which I've never watched, but I've heard good things. But Simu Liu is I got to know him from Shang-Chi. And and then I saw him in Barbie. He was great in Barbie. But no, I quickly have grown to really like Simu Liu, and he's good in there. There's a lot of tropes like getting the band together, not back together per se, but getting the band together, or reconciling not necessarily with an old foe, but reconciling issues with your past and your past friends. So yeah, it's. It is tropey. The movie really starts to not come alive. That's not a right term. The movie really finds its pace once the actual race starts, which fortunately takes up a large portion of the movie. It starts out with the race, the previous race he lost and failed, and then it ultimately goes to where he is at this time in his life. Then back to the race. And then after the race, dealing with trying to save Arthur. The dog they got was a well-trained dog, by the way. It's not exactly the same dog or type of dog. Of course, not the same dog. It's not the same type of dog, but it is a pretty good likeness to the dog. Because they do, obviously, in any of these real life based movies, they show images of the real people and the real dog and all that in the credits. He's a good dog, and you immediately just want to give this dog a hug and take him home and take care of him because you see him being being a stray and and his life as a stray, and later on we find out just how rough his life really has been. He's gotten a massive infection. We meet him initially in the movie and he's not injured, and then later on for the rest of the movie we see that he is injured, and the implication, we see what the implication that happened to him in the scene was someone took a good crack at him. And yeah, it was like, it's just so, it's heartbreaking to see like an animal do this, particularly dog, man's best friend, all that. It's heartbreaking to see a dog go through that, but it's also, you see the never back down attitudes, like, the fight, the spirit this dog has. Like he will keep going. He'll keep doing what he's doing, until he ultimately finds Mark Wahlberg and bonds with Mark Wahlberg, and the relationship these guys have. And when it gets to him trying to save Arthur's life, it really is. Oh man, as a dog lover and as a dog owner my whole life, something with a dog is done right, it will get me emotional. And I was emotional. I wasn't even tearing up, but I was definitely okay, because I didn't know the story if the dog made it or not. I assumed he did, but I didn't know the story. And look, it's a real story, so I'm not spoiling anything for that. Yes, the dog made it. Obviously, I said it in the beginning. But yeah, it's more the journey of how he got where he ultimately ended up. How these guys still ultimately did what they did. Won't say, even though it's a real story, I won't let you know if they actually did win or not. There's a scene that kind of determines whether they win or not. And how it's played out, you're happy it plays out because it gets tense for a second. They're like, oh God. And so ultimately, yeah, there's not much else for me to say in the movie. This is not a really in-depth character analysis movie. This is just a feel-good little movie based on a real story about a man and an animal that bonded and found friendship and camaraderie with each other. And you know what? As a pet owner all my life, as a dog owner, as a normal human being, I think as human beings, those are stories we should and can relate to. So yeah, as a human being and as a pet owner my whole life, I can gravitate towards that kind of story. At least someone asked me about my thoughts on A Dog's Life and Dog's Purpose. Seeing as we're talking about movies and dogs. By the way, I keep forgetting to bring my notebook to talk about trailers. I know I didn't get anything really new, so don't worry about that. I have never watched A Dog's Purpose or Dog's Life or Dog's Purpose or whatever. The two movies, I can't remember what it is. Dog's Purpose, Dog's something or other. I am never going to watch those movies. Now, look, every movie is manipulative in some way because they're trying to manipulate you, especially with the trailers, to go see the movie. That's just the way movies work. But there's a difference between manipulating you and just going to see a movie, which can still be problematic if you're like selling something that's just strictly not in the movie. And then emotionally and manipulating you, and then as a movie emotionally manipulating you in a very unpleasant way. And Dog's Purpose, I think it's Dog's Journey, right? Dog's Purpose, I don't need to watch a dog repeatedly die. I don't need to effing do that. Like, I get what the message is. Like, the bond between man and dog is so strong and so pure that it transcends life and death, rebirth, so on and so forth. I get that message, and that is a beautiful message. But I don't need to watch dogs die all the time. I have heard some of the one of the incarnations gets shot because he's a police dog. I'm like, I don't need this. I don't need this in my life. Like, I used to be a lot stronger emotionally when it came to movies than before my mom passed. And now it's like there are trigger things for me, folks, and animals dying, I still cannot to this day. I can now finally have Jurassic Park, the Futurama episode in the background. I was on the computer just working before work, and I had Futurama on because I had Comedy Central. I just put on Futurama or whatever they're playing usually in the morning just to have something on the background, maybe watch something. And I was like, oh, it's this episode. Oh, God. But I'm like, okay, you know what? I was able to get through this time. Was not paying attention to that end because it's the end. It's the end that does it. I, to this day, cannot watch I Am Legend, that scene. You know exactly. When I say I Am Legend and you were talking about dogs dying, you know exactly what scene I'm talking about. I cannot watch that scene without bawling. Dude, that is just such a messed up scene. And it's a good movie, I Am Legend. And it's still, for the movie itself, it works. Like, if the scene works, it's just, I can't watch that scene. I can't do it. I cry like a baby. I am a grown man. I am 34, and I do not give a rat's ass to it, man. I cry like a baby at the end of Homeward Bound, the first one. Not because the dog's died, but because a Shadow, the golden retriever, my dog wasn't a golden retriever. She was a mutt, and for some reason, and we lost her around the age of 13. She had cancer, and it was. I found that out so harshly that day. But yeah, the moment I see the old dog brave the mud, to fight with everything he had to get back to his owner, I'm starting to get a little emotional right now thinking about it. Like, it just makes my heart cry with happiness. That's what there's making your heart smile, and then there's making your heart cry. But there's happy cries, and that's a happy cry. I love the 90s definitely knew how to get you in that wholesome feel. That's not to say movies today can't do it, but I just remembered some gems from the 90s. I wouldn't say this is a gem, but it's a good movie. Have you seen the movie? Do you intend to see the movie? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Screw it. What are some of your favorite human-dog relationship movies? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.